Alright, physics students, if somebody were to ask you what is the Newton's third law, and you said this, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, then you wouldn't be wrong, but it is very possible that you misunderstood the law and you will make many mistakes. And that's because this statement is rather vague and it's apt to be misunderstood. So let's take an example of what that misunderstanding is, right? Consider this setup of a block placed on a table. This block has a mass m, and let's draw the free body diagram quickly. There is a weight of the body, this W downwards arrow, and this weight is the gravitational force of attraction from the earth. The earth is causing this weight force, right? And it is acting towards the center of the earth. Then there is also the normal reaction force, which is at n upwards. This is the pushing force from the table on the block. So this force is coming from the table and the table is pushing the block up. We can see that the block is in equilibrium, and that means the upward force and the downward force are both equal. So N is equal to W. They're in opposite directions, right? That means the normal reaction from the table is balancing the gravitational pull from the earth. They are acting in opposite directions and they have equal magnitude. So a number of students think that this weight and this normal reaction together form an action-reaction pair as per the third law. And that is just not true. Because the third law is actually saying this. Let's take two blocks, A and B, and they are interacting with each other. Then if A is exerting a force on B, let's say A is pushing B with a force F, then simultaneously B also pushes A back with an equal force in the opposite direction. They don't occur one after the other. It's not like A pushes first and B pushes next. No, both of them occur simultaneously. If A is pushing B, simultaneously B is pushing A. Likewise, if B is pulling A towards itself, then simultaneously A is pulling B towards itself. And what's more, these simultaneous forces, these are what make the third law pair. They are of the same type. That means in our block on table example, weight and normal reaction simply cannot be the third law pair because they are different types of forces, first of all. Secondly, they are acting on the same body. Whereas according to third law, the two forces that you're talking about, the equal and opposite forces, are acting on two interacting bodies. In fact, even the equal magnitude does not happen if you put this setup in an elevator which is accelerating. So consider here this setup is in an elevator and the elevator is accelerating upwards with A. Then that means that the block is accelerating upwards with A. That means the normal reaction is greater than the weight. In fact, by second law, N minus W is equal to MA, which clearly means N is not equal to W. So I hope you see that these two are not the action-reaction pair that the third law is talking about. Then in our example, what is the third law pair? There's not one, but there are two pairs in this example. One pair of normal reactions and one pair of gravitational attractions. We know that the table is applying the normal reaction on the block. So if our body A is the table and the block is body B, then the third law pair for the table pushing the block upwards is the block pushing the table downwards. They're equal in magnitude, opposed in direction, and they're acting between two interacting bodies, which is the block and the table, and they're both of the same type. They are both normal reactions. Similarly, weight is the gravitational force of attraction that the earth is exerting on the block. The earth is pulling the block towards itself. Then the third law pair for the center of the earth pulling the block down is basically the block pulling the earth up. And the reason you don't notice this force on the earth is because the earth is so huge and the force is so tiny, it barely affects the earth. So here on, when you need to work with the third law, forget about action reaction and all of that stuff. Instead, think about what two bodies are interacting and what kind of forces they are applying on each other. And those forces that they are applying on each other will be equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, same type of force, and they act simultaneously. See you again with one more physics misconception of this sort.